In trending news, a top Florida Democrat is suing the president, the Biden administration, that is Agricultural Commissioner Nikki Fried out of Florida. She drops this news today on April the 20th. And NBC News has obtained a copy of the lawsuit. So this lawsuit targets a federal form that asks whether gun buyers and an unlawful user of drugs specifies that marijuana is illegal. A person allowed by the state to use marijuana legally under Florida law, or maybe even your state's law, has to check yes, which results in a denial of the purchase. Lying by checking no runs the risk of, perjury, which is, of course, a federal crime, and that can be punished with a 5-year prison sentence for making a false statement. And so she says that this is this going to be one of those violations of your, what's the one, the fifth? I plead the fifth, and so. Let's see. Argues that the lawsuit that the form violates the Second Amendment rights of lawful medical marijuana placement and runs afoul of the congressional budget prohibition on federal agents interfering with state-sanctioned cannabis laws. I like that. And so she's got two arguments: one, federalist principles, and the other one, violation of your Second Amendment rights. But then why is that not a violation of your Fifth Amendment rights against incrimination? And so that was why the first marijuana laws back from 1937 got overturned, because the only way that you can get that marijuana tax stamp was to have the marijuana. And then if you had the marijuana, how could you get the tax stamp without it? So you had to be incriminating yourself in the process of administering the law. It'd be interesting to see if that argument would also bear fruit, but perhaps it wouldn't. However, the money that they are spending to so the prohibition on federal agents interfering with state-sanctioned cannabis laws, perhaps. So if you check that box, I don't even know. That's going to be an interesting one to brief. And so there's going to be some fun litigation going on in a federal court.
You know who should get behind this?
Who's that?
The NRA.
You know who's when reached for comment, the NRA hung up the phone.
I'm just saying, if they really cared about rights, I mean, half these what do you call them? What's the company was just used for a shell for money, just to launder. I mean, that's all these. They don't care about rights and people. They don't care about real issues, and cannabis is being one of them. I don't appreciate her doing this on 420. She's running for governor, and also she has stake in the medical game out there. And I don't know. She gives off an icky vibe sometimes, but I mean, she's better than DeSantis probably as governor. But
man, I think DeSantis really shot himself in the foot today. He came out against the mouse. And so, he came out against Disney, and I'm like, boy, I just don't. Disney pays people salaries in Florida. You take people's salaries as political contributions in Florida. So it'll be interesting.
It's funny how the R is called about culture wars, but they actually are the ones creating it. I mean, it's come on. But yeah, I do agree. We should, but the NRA doesn't. One of the biggest people out there that should be standing up for us, for guns,
for gun rights, for the Second Amendment rights. Yeah. Where's the NRA when weed is involved? Seriously.
So I probably won't even go any further than just a publicity stunt, because
no, they're going to have to brief that. You can't just file something for publicity. You actually have to prosecute cases. To do so, would violate, which is it's Rule 137 in Illinois. But you have to have a good faith basis for whatever you put in front of a court. Otherwise, you can be sanctioned. There's a public policy in the resolution of all claims. Fairly and honestly.
I'm on the side of the court, though. The court doesn't have to hear it, though, right?
Of course they do. This isn't the Supreme Court. The court has to hear it. And so if they file that in a district court, that's going to have its day. It's going to get heard. People are going to brief it. And then it's either going to be a meritorious argument, or it'll probably be met with a motion to dismiss. We should do more litigation related how to cannabis things.
Yeah.
Maybe one Wednesday and another Wednesday in the future. It's not there's any lack of that stuff.
Something that deep, though, I think would be good to sit and outline too, because I mean, you can do policy and make money at the same time, and that's kind of how legalizations happen. That's why I don't hate too much on all these big MSOs, right? Everybody wants to, again, Anheuser-Busch's and shit like that, but rich people don't want to go to jail. People who are millionaires want to travel interstate with their product. As more of these people get involved, and that's the stock thing, right? So with that stock thing going down, that's not so much the businesses doing shitty, it's just people investing in it, right? It's like people going, I want to hold out my money because I don't want to, even though any cannabis investment, well, I don't want to say any, because there's a lot of people who like an Enron disappear, will like break up. But I honestly think like truly, they'll be around for a while. That's gonna be these.
I don't know, man. Most companies fail. Pan Am was on top of the world, and so if the whole reason for their game and what they're playing is based on a lie, and that lie gets corrected by market forces, they're screwed. Especially if they're too heavy on debt and they can't carry their debt burden. These are all matters for conjecture in the future. Yay. And then when that blue thing at the bottom goes all the way to the right, you hit end.
Blue thing.
I think Laura made us this. It's really sweet of her. Good
stuff. Oh, you talking to Danielle?
I don't know. The little blue thing at the end.